Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining. We'll give a minute or so for people to trickle in. In the meantime, if you've ever joined any of our best practice sessions, we love to put in the chat where we're joining from. So if anybody is open to doing that, we'd love to hear where you're tuning in from. I am in Denver, Colorado, and I'll let Lavinia share where she's tuning in from.
I am in Romania. I'm not going to say the name of the town because it's complicated, but at least Romania, it's enough.
We love it. Okay, we got Utah, we got Atlanta, we have Virginia. Okay, we'll give just one more minute to let people join, and then we'll kick things off. Again, thank you everybody for joining. And what we're doing is we're just sending where we're tuning in from in the chat. We mentioned I'm in Colorado, and Lavinia is in Romania, New York City. Nice to have you all. South of Sweden. I love that.
Brazil.
Brazil, Paris, North Carolina, Colombia. Welcome, everybody. We have quite the mix of people today. Okay, well, since we're a couple minutes over, over the hour, I will kick us off. Again, thank you everybody for joining our intro session. So welcome. This is our navigating certification options for your portfolio. I am Whitney Nielsen, the Director of Client Engagement at Fitwel, and I'll be the moderator today and sharing a little bit about Fitwel and who we are at the Center for Active Design in a day. So we're so glad everybody's here. We'll do quick housekeeping notes before we dive into the meat of the content here. So as a reminder, per usual with our best practice and intro sessions, it is recorded and we will always share the recordings out in a follow-up email with additional resources and any Q&As we either couldn't get to, or if you have to leave early, we'll send those as a follow-up as well. And as I mentioned, Q&A, we will have time for Q&A at the end of the session. So throughout the session, feel free to either drop them in the chat or in the Q&A button on the Zoom channel. And then we'll also be sharing helpful links in the chat. Shout out to Janelle on our team, who will be sending links in the chat throughout the session. So a quick look at our agenda. We'll be doing some intros from me and Lavinia, and then a brief intro into Fitwel and what makes our certification model unique, an overview of our core solutions, which are the Fitwel certification star rating and Fitwel social performance. And then we will spotlight our partner Evora, who Lavinia is with, and how they use both pathways to both create alignment with strategy and have a scalable impact across their clients' portfolios. And then we will talk about what's new at Fitwel and how to get started. So, and then after that, we will wrap up, as mentioned, with questions and next steps. Okay, so for those who I haven't had the pleasure of working with yet, I'll just move back up real quick. Again, I'm Whitney and I oversee Fitwel's champion programs and our relationship management team. I've been with Fitwel for about 4.5 years and I come from a design and consultant background. I've had the opportunity of supporting some of our early FSP users, including Evora Global, who we're lucky enough to have as a guest speaker today. So Lavinia, we're so glad to have you with us. Can you please introduce yourself?
Thank you, Whitney. First of all, it's a pleasure to be here. So I'm Lavinia Talika. I'm a sustainability consultant at Evora Global, where I've been for just over 3 years. And I've had the opportunity to lead multiple Fitwel social performance FSP certifications across a diverse European portfolio. And I'm excited to share how we've integrated FSP into our ESG strategy to drive measurable social impact.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that. So now we're going to kick off with a quick refresher on what Fitwel is and why it matters, and who we are as the operators and certifiers of the standard. So Fitwel is operated by the Active Design Advisors Incorporated with third-party certification services provided by the Center for Active Design. So we are backed by over 100 years of public health research, and we offer a science-based, cost-effective framework to help the real estate industry, integrate health into investment strategies and boost asset performance, tenant satisfaction, ROI. Jump here. So we really want to jump into, why health? So really to kind of take a step back before we talk about the different solutions that we offer in terms of Fitwel. So health is no longer a bonus. It is truly a business imperative. Tenant demand, workforce expectations, and investor priorities are shifting, and we've all seen that. Properties that prioritize health see much stronger tenant retention, higher satisfaction, and better long-term returns. So, in fact, a recent study, which we have here, and Janelle will be sending in the chat, found that, so it's a recent peer-reviewed study out of Cambridge University, found that Fitwel certified office buildings command 4.6 to 4.8% higher rents than non-certified peers. So that's really a great example of real ROI. So it's great to have peer-reviewed studies like that that really back the important work that we're doing and that you all are doing with getting these certifications. So you'll see us sharing, as I mentioned, in the channel and then across also our LinkedIn channels. So feel free to follow us on LinkedIn as well, Fitwel certification system. And then understanding the Fitwel certification options. So this is about applying Fitwel. So now that we've kind of talked about the value of health, we'll jump into this. So we've explored, why healthy buildings, these drive measurable value from tenant demand and workforce expectations to those financial returns and also ESG priorities. So that's the why. And now we'll really shift to looking at the how. How do we operationalize these things? So Fitwel is a science-backed certification system that integrates that public health research and practical real estate solutions. So really at that nexus there, which is really important and exciting. It was created to provide a cost-effective and also accessible way for property owners, developers, and tenants to implement health-driven strategies to enhance that occupant well-being and asset value. So the Fitwel certification system provides two complementary pathways to help real estate leaders track, validate, and enhance health and ESG performance at different levels. So we'll really dive into both of these today. Fitwel social performance is one, and you can see it on screen here. It provides a portfolio-wide scale certification that benchmarks and quantifies that social impact across an entire real estate portfolio. Sorry, one second, I need to hard to speak for a long time. And then our star rating certification is our other pathway. This is, our landmark certification, really what we've been known for since 2017. It's asset-specific certification that applies science-backed strategies to individual properties, both buildings and sites. So each of these pathways provides distinct benefits, and together they allow real estate professionals to achieve a comprehensive portfolio coverage, which is really great. So we're going to break these down a little bit further, and you can review this table in more detail on our follow-up, but I'll cover it at a high level right now. So you can see this is really just a comparison of the two, but also how they can be complementary. So you can achieve some things through pursuing one or the other, and then some you can actually achieve maximum impact by pursuing both, which is really exciting. So as I mentioned, I already talked about what they're ideal for, but participation requirements, the FSP scale certification is really meant for application across an entire portfolio. So I mentioned here, minimum of 10 assets. That's a general guide, but we also mention here, it can be an entire portfolio and whatever that may mean. We know those differ in number of assets. And then for star rating certification, that is certifying one asset at a time. You still may be certifying an entire portfolio, but you are achieving certification for each one individually. And then just some other quick highlights. The version right now, if you were to register a new project under either pathway, you would be on our Fitwel version 3, which is our latest and greatest that came out last summer. And then minimum requirements. This is also important, and we love talking about it. There's no prerequisites for either one. So it's really a choose your own journey. We really want it to be accessible to everybody. We are building health for all here at Fitwel. So we love talking about that. And then for FSP, what's really important, if you're looking to report to GRESB using the certification pathway, you do need to pursue two of what we call our targeted outcomes. And we're happy to dive into those and speak more with you individually if you're interested in that product. And we'll dive in a little bit deeper on the next few slides as well. And then in terms of validity, I think this is also really important to touch on real quick. Um, FSP is an annual achievement with year-over-year benchmarking. So it is an annual certification. And then the star rating is valid for 3 years. And I'll also dive in a little deeper on that in a minute. So we'll take a quick look first at Fitwel Social Performance, which is the entity level certification designed to quantify social impact at scale. So I'll jump over here. So FSP is what we call it for short. So I'll be referencing it as FSP from here on out. So FSP is truly built for scale. It's a third-party validated framework. If you choose to pursue that route, that, that lets you access health and well-being across an entire portfolio, as I mentioned. So there's no prerequisites, and you can start measuring and improving that social impact immediately. So to dive in a little bit into those two pathways I mentioned, they're listed on the right there, along with the pricing for both. So I'll dive into validated benchmark. So this is $1,000 per asset as listed there, and we have various discounts available throughout the year and for different audiences and user types. But it is a third-party validated assessment, providing peer comparable data for GRES reporting and your ESG optimization. So this pathway is accepted by GRES for partial plus credit. So I wanted to note that. And users will receive a report as one of their deliverables. And this is a very comprehensive report. We will be sharing some screen captures from it when Evora dives into how they have used FSP with their clients. And as I mentioned, we're going to be talking to Evora in a little bit more detail about this, but this is the pathway that they did use with all of their clients to date. So we'll show an example of those report outcomes, and we'll also talk about real insights into portfolio's performance and that peer comparison data if you decide to pursue it. And then the other option, which is a great option for those that are not necessarily looking for the GRES report and points, and also if they're looking for something they can really apply at scale very quickly. So this is a self-generated benchmark. So this is, as you can see, it's $750. It is a streamlined self-assessment tool offering insights into health, risk mitigation, social impact. And with this pathway, as I mentioned earlier, there's no third-party data validation, so it is not accepted by GRES, but it is a great starting point for anyone looking to assess their portfolio's current performance. So you still do get that portfolio performance data, and you can really create a nice benchmark for your assets. And then I will jump into our other product offering, the star rating certification, also known as our asset certification. So while Fitwel Social Performance benchmarks health at an entity level, the star rating certification provides a building specific certification that really enables owners to enhance health, improve efficiency, and differentiate their properties. This is our most recognizable certification pathway. This is where it's especially helpful for tenant marketing and branding. And Lavinia will share later how they've used it in action, which is exciting. Really providing the base and foundation here for Lavinia to really speak about how clients have utilized these solutions. So for this product, just to talk about the outcomes. So we talked about FSP, you have a report, you get a certificate, you can report to GRES, you can integrate that data into an ESG report or your sustainability report. And then for Fitwel's star rating, you will get the certificate similar to FSP. So this will be for those specific assets pursuing star rating certification, whether it's a building or a site. We have all different scorecards available, and we'll talk about how to choose the right one later today. And the outcomes for Fitwel star rating certification are you will earn between 1 and 3 stars based on your score. There's a variety. We mentioned here 90 points is the threshold. So there is a threshold for achievement here. So 90 points gets you a 1-star rating. 105 points gets you 2 stars, and 125 gets you 3 stars. 1 star is a huge achievement. We don't want to belittle 1 star certifications. They are a huge achievement for an asset. And 3 stars, I would say it's above and beyond. And we're always happy to pull any stats if you're looking for, if you're the first in any achievement across the globe. And then I want to talk about some other outcomes you get with star rating certification. You do receive a plaque. It is purchased through a third-party provider. So you can choose between a variety of different aesthetic looks based on where you're looking to place the plaque. It's also not a requirement to purchase one. And there are also decals available as part of that as well, which is something that we are exploring that may be coming soon for FSP as well. So these certificates, plaques, and then the outcomes that you get in terms of areas of opportunity and strength available on our Fitwel platform really support leasing, marketing, and retention strategies. And then in terms of pricing for star rating certification, I'll touch on this really quickly. It is based on a tiered approach. So we have ranges of square footage, as you can see here, and then the certification fee associated with it. And also noted at the top here, every project has a $500 registration fee as well, which is where they differ. FSP does not currently have a registration fee. It is a single fee product. So we'll share a visual in the chat of these two products so you can really compare them. You can look at, how they can complement each other and what the best option for you is. And then we always encourage you to reach out and have a deeper conversation with us if you need help strategizing. We're always happy to chat. So now I am thrilled to turn it over to Lavinia from Evora Global, one of our longtime champion providers and early adopters of both of these certification pathways. So Lavinia, we'd love to hear more about Evora and the services that you all provide your clients.
Absolutely. Thank you, Whitney. Evora is a consultancy dedicated to helping real asset investors navigate the challenges and opportunities of the climate transition. And what sets us apart is not just our expertise, but the way we bring it all together. Our award-winning consultancy team, backed by in-house software, data specialists, engineers, and ESG strategists. Founded in 2011, we help clients mitigate sustainability risks, enhance asset value, and safeguard market reputation through expert guidance, managed services, and data-driven solutions. Together, we combine deep industry knowledge with advanced technology to provide integrated services across like net zero and decarbonization strategy, sustainable finance and climate risk, ESG and impact reporting, health, well-being and social value, data management, analytics and software. And I think I could go on, but I'm going to stop right now. A little bit about us.
It's always, I feel like you guys do everything. So thank you for sharing that, giving a baseline. We have up on the screen a QR code, so feel free to scan that QR code. We also have the link below for Evora's website, so feel free to visit their website to learn a little bit more. They're also featured on our champion providers page on our website if you would like to learn more about what that partnership looks like and if it's a good fit for your company as well. So I want to jump into, we love working with you guys because you do look at projects with your clients from a more holistic approach. So to dive a little bit deeper into application, Lavinia, can you share a bit about how Evora is using Fitwel across your clients' portfolios?
Yeah. So Fitwel has become a go-to tool for us in this process because across both certification types, star rating certification and FSP, how we decided to call it, we've worked with a wide variety of assets from retail parks and offices to multifamily housing and senior living. And we have applied star rating certification to landmark properties where tailored and site-level strategies were critical. Meanwhile, for our portfolio-wide clients, FSP has enabled us to roll out consistent health and well-being policies across multiple buildings while streamlining the documentation process. In short, Fitwel helps us deliver both depth and scale, which is exactly what our clients need. at this point.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. We love to see just kind of like where you all find value and where you can see that value translated to your clients. Could you give us a sense of where you see the most value with FSP specifically when working with your clients?
Definitely. FSP has been a game changer in helping our clients measure and communicate social impact at scale. One of the most valuable aspects of using FSPs is how it translates health and sustainability data into meaningful, actionable insights for property owners and investors. At Evora, we've seen firsthand how FSP helps our clients understand the real value these efforts create across their portfolios, not just in terms of certifications, but in measurable benefits tied to resilience, to tenant experience, and long-term financial performance. For example, many of the reports we've worked on have highlighted strong performance in areas like climate adaptation, daylight access, and interior biophilia. Each of these directly connects to aspects like tenant well-being and asset value. If you take daylight access, for example, research links it to improve cognitive health, and we often see it associated with higher rental values and better lease retention, as you did, yeah, as you also mentioned above before. Or if you take heat island mitigation, not only does it help lower local temperature, but it also supports reduced national energy use, delivering both environmental and financial upside. And we've also seen some early wins across our portfolio rollouts, like shorter review cycles because we are able to reuse documentation across similar assets, easier internal buy-in thanks to the strong ESG alignment, and of course, clear and consistent reporting outputs we can use directly for GRESB submissions and investor storytelling.
That's amazing. Love hearing where you as a company at Evora are finding value that you feel you can relay to your clients, and sell FSP. So we love to hear about how they're providing value. And since you've pursued FSP across multiple entities now, which is really exciting, that you've gone through the full process now, as part of one of the early adopters, and you've used the FSP report with your clients, can you identify any specific uses where, people have taken the report and operationalized it? Um, just so people know, about the FSP report. I have it up on screen, one of the slides from it. It's one of the deliverables that you'll receive from certification, and it provides not only performance data, which on the next slide, we'll look at what a report card looks like, but this also provides peer data when you pursue that validated benchmark. So I'll hand it back over to you, to speak specifically if you have any input from any of your clients.
Yes, I do think of one. In one case, FSP helped a client uncover a gap in emergency preparedness policy across their portfolio. And they are now rolling out a unified strategy, and the goal is to see tenant satisfaction gains, which we were able to determine from our report findings. And what is powerful is that FSP doesn't just highlight what you are doing well, it identifies actionable opportunities, whether it's adding biophilic elements or launching wellness programs. Small changes can have a big impact. And what I really appreciate about FSP is that it brings a clear evidence-based perspective to ESG strategy. And it starts with a simple but powerful question, which is how do our clients' assets impact people, and how do those people impact the financial performance of those assets? And honestly, this is something that we talk a lot about. We talk about a lot at Evora because it's a message we share with our clients regularly. That social impact isn't just nice to have; it's directly tied to long-term value creation. So yeah.
100%. Such an important message. I love that as a takeaway, even from today, that this is really tying back to long-term value creation. We always talk about, and something I didn't mention today is that we really focus on incremental change over time at Fitwel. So that's where these reports create a ton of value is, and Lavinia mentioned the emergency preparedness plan was something that one of the clients took from the report as an outcome and implemented it as a new strategy because they saw that it was, something they currently weren't achieving, that they had additional impact they could be making at some of their assets. So love to hear about these real world applications. So those are such great points. I absolutely love hearing about how you guys are doing things and talking about things, and providing value to your clients. It really gives clients that strategic direction tied to that real business value. So now I'll pivot over to our other topic for today, and our other focus. So how do you see star rating certification, that more asset level specific certification, the 3-year certification, fitting into your broader client strategy?
Well, our team often used and still uses the star rating certification for high profile or newly repositioned asset, where certification can drive leasing and marketing value. In those cases, the site-specific strategies help demonstrate a clear commitment to occupant well-being, which supports tenant retention and even rental premiums. So I would say that together, FSP and star rating certification allow us to tackle both portfolio-wide impact and asset level distinction. So it's good for us having these two tools.
Yes, giving you really a create your own journey for clients, like we
Yeah.
mentioned, with even the strategies within each certification. It really, we wanted to make sure that we could address the market need. So this is great. And it really brings us back to what you said earlier, that utilizing both or utilizing one and then layering on another one, or even using one across an entire portfolio really creates that depth and scale so that you really can have maximum impact for your clients, which is great. So thank you so much for walking us through how you're using both certifications in such practical results-focused ways. Now I will talk about, as I mentioned earlier, closing out this portion of the session by talking about some helpful resources and tips for getting started. We've really scratched the surface today on what FSP is and what star rating certification is. So again, do not hesitate to reach out to us. Take a look at our website, take a look at our help center. We'll be sharing some links in a little bit to those two resources. We have a wealth of information there, but also we love speaking to our users, and we want to help you make sure that you can use Fitwel to the best of its ability. So I will jump into just how to get started with a star rating certification specifically. It's fairly easy, and as I mentioned, we're always here to help. So the star rating certification follows generally 7 steps from registration and scorecard selection all the way to review and certification. So I've provided a graphic on screen that walks us through these steps, and I'll touch on them high level real quick. So step 1 is really registering. So Janelle can share a link to our Fitwel platform. It's app.fitwel.org. If anybody does not have a user account, we highly encourage you to create one. There's a lot of tools available to you just by having a user account, which is really exciting. And I'll touch on one of them in a little bit. And next, you will be able to then assess a project after you register it on the platform. So you register yourself as a user, and then you can register projects utilizing the platform. You can assess your project on the platform, identify what strategies you can pursue. You'll see the score change automatically in response to the assertions you put in. And then you get also some other valuable data in terms of what health impact categories. There's a lot of things to cover. So feel free to take a look at any of our resources on the website to learn more about those. Step 3 would be establishing a benchmark for your assets. So, what score are you achieving just by inputting what you're doing currently? That's a strategy we see done a lot. And then you can utilize some of our reports that are on the platform. We have the areas of opportunity and the areas of strength. I mentioned this is a great marketing tool. Our areas of strength really tie the strategies you're achieving with the health impact that they're having. So we really want to make sure we're feeding you the information that you need, that you can go out and market your project. And then on the flip side, the areas of opportunity really takes a look and provides you with a gap analysis. So it takes the highest achieving strategies, so ranked from highest to lowest, and point value, and then gives you just which ones you can achieve, which is great, and their health impact as well. So that you can really take a look and figure out, if you have some funds that you can invest in a certain asset or property, we give you some tools to do so, which is great. And then from there, if you're ready and you feel like, you can achieve that 90 points to get the 1-star rating, you can begin documenting your project. We have a lot of tools available on the platform. We really call it our one-stop shop. You can look at the requirements, you can look at compliance documentation. You don't have to flip between different resources. So it's really great to just get your project on the platform so you can have, maximum impact. And then really it goes into the review process. So once you're ready to submit and have paid your certification and registration fee, the certification process starts. And we have more information on our website about what those timelines look like depending on what type of user you are. And then you get your certification. So it's really exciting. You get your scorecard overview, you get your certificate, and then we also always provide a marketing guide. So we give you some quotes, different ways to promote your project. And then if you would like to cross promote it with us, we always encourage you to reach out to our team, and we're happy to celebrate your achievements with you. So I will jump now to the resources I mentioned. So in terms of scale, Fitwel scale certification, FSP, on our website, we have primers available, we have strategy checklists, and we have a deck and talking points. So you can take a look at the information we have available. And then as I mentioned, always feel free to reach out. We can help you get started with this process if it's of interest to you. And then for the star rating certification, I talked about the 7 steps to get started. But if you're looking to kind of take a step back and figure out if this is the right product for you, we have a lot of different resources available. We have primers. We have on our help center, which in and of itself is a wealth of knowledge. So I really highly encourage everybody to just take a look around, peruse the help center, see what we have. And if you have any questions or we're looking for a resource but couldn't find it, definitely reach out to us. We have a contact us page on the help center, and we're happy to support you in that way as well. So we have, just to go over a few of the products we have that help with star rating certification, we have crosswalks, which simplify the planning and recertification of V2.1 to V3 projects. So it really helps you map, based on what you achieved, what you would need to do for V3, which is great. It really maps out exactly, if you achieved X, you said yes to, strategy 2.1, this is what it means for you on V3, and here's exactly what option, to pursue if there is an overlap there in requirements, which is really great. And then the scorecard checklist. This is a great page on our site because what's also available on the scorecard checklist page is what we call our applicability matrix. So I'll talk about that in a little bit more detail, but it's a great way to figure out if you're selecting the right scorecard prior to registration, which is a great time to do so. And then we also have change logs, which provide key updates to maximize health and sustainability impact. So this talks about the differences between V2.1, V3, and what has changed between the two. So really just capturing when changes happen, we want to make sure you have all the information that you need. And then again, some decks and talking points as well, in case you're looking to, present out to your team or your client if you're a provider. We're always happy to help provide the right resources for you. As I mentioned, the Help Center, it's an essential resource for navigating certification and really maximizing your value. So we have FAQs available. You can see here, these are the different sections available. We have FAQs, we have a getting started guide. If you're working on a V2.1 project, we have some strategy support for you there. And then a lot of V3 resources in terms of checklists, those change logs. Our best practice sessions are on there if you want, to review any of our recordings. We talk about recertification, how to get started, and things like that. And then while I'm on this page, I will speak to those 2 different resources that will really help you choose the right scorecard. So in terms of next steps, if you want to use Fitwel, you've identified that star rating certification is the right path for you. We do have 2 really helpful tools available. I mentioned the applicability matrix. Janelle will share that link in the chat. It is the same page as our checklist, which is really great because you can open this downloadable spreadsheet and it helps you determine the right certification pathway, scorecard, and provides an overview of what all of those things mean. So what does design certification mean? What does built certification mean? When would your projects fall into, the different pathways? So it really breaks all those things down for you. It defines them for you. And then, if you come onto the applicability matrix, you download it, you're a museum. You'll just, you can control F, look for museum. It'll tell you exactly how you would apply a Fitwel certification, what users it would have impact on, and then what your scorecard would be. So a really great tool if you're looking to just utilize the Help Center at that stage. And then another great resource is we actually have the product selection wizard available on our platform, and it's called the product selection tool on the platform. It's on the left-hand toolbar, left-hand side toolbar of the Fitwel platform. So I mentioned earlier, registering on app.fitwel.org is a really great resource because now this tool is available to you for free. It helps you identify by going through the registration process steps to identify the right scorecard prior to committing to registration, which is a key piece so that you can go into registration and certification with confidence. So I love this tool. I use it all the time. I've shown it to every client I speak to. And then also something we've heard is it's also a great BD tool. So if any of you work with BD teams at your company, you can share this link with them. You can share, create a user account. When you're speaking to new clients, feel free to use this tool. It'll just help them come better prepared to speak about Fitwel as well. And then lastly, another resource we have is the ambassador course. So if you're looking to build in-house expertise across your company, the Fitwel Ambassador course is a fantastic resource. It covers the science, the strategies, and scoring to help you deepen your team's knowledge. It talks about the history of healthy buildings. It talks about us as a Center for Active Design and a day. It speaks to the V3 development. And then as part of the ambassador course, it is a video course that you watch, and then it is a 100-question exam. We have a large community of ambassadors, which is very exciting. So I believe we might have already exceeded the 5,000 plus ambassadors, which is great. And they're all over the world. And you do get additional benefits by completing the ambassador exam and becoming an ambassador. You'll see the designation on your user dashboard on the platform. And ambassadors do get a later submission deadline for if you're looking to achieve certification within a calendar year. So we released earlier this year our 2025 submission deadlines, which you can find on our Help Center just by searching submission deadlines in the search box. You actually get almost an additional month by having that ambassador designation to achieve certification within the 2025 calendar year. And then you also get an expedited review timeline. So instead of the typical 16 weeks, you would get a 12-week certification timeline, which is really exciting and really great. And then you also come just with that baseline of knowledge of healthy buildings, Fitwel, and what we do here. So I'll jump into before we jump into Q&A, I just want to cover a few updates real quick that are exciting happenings this week and this month. So we just launched on Monday our low-rise residential scorecard, which is really exciting. This scorecard is perfect for garden-style apartments, student housing, townhome communities, a variety of typologies. So if you go to our Help Center and search low-rise, you can learn a little bit more. We have a lot of FAQs available there. And it's officially available on the platform. If you're going to register a project and you discover that low-rise is right for you, when you select project type, you will select multi-building asset. And that our low-rise scorecard is under that project type, which is an exciting new development. And then also exciting is early adopters get 15% off certification fees if you initiate registration and certification. When you go to register your project, you'll need to select the certification fee checkbox, enter in the square footage or the acreage for low rise. And then at checkout, you enter low rise 15 and you'll see that 15% reflected. So Janelle's sharing a lot of resources in the chat which you can take a look and learn more. And then we're also working on a hospitality scorecard, which will be coming soon. We are very much in the development and gathering feedback phase of that effort. So if you're interested, we have an interest form that we will drop in the chat that you can submit your information, and we will probably be in touch to potentially gather some feedback from you. We always like to involve our users when we come out with new products or enhancements. So a quick note, I mentioned the submission deadlines earlier, not too long ago. So for those submitting projects in this 2025 certification calendar year, we're offering a 10% discount on certification fees for star rating submissions using code SUBMIT 2025, which will get you 10% off those certification fees. We'll send a link in the chat and you can see if your project qualifies based on your submission deadline. I mentioned earlier, if you're an ambassador, that date is a month later than general users. And then if you're a champion, it's a little bit later. So take a look at those deadlines. If you're looking to submit by them and you haven't paid your certification fees yet, feel free to use that Submit 2025 at checkout to get an additional 10% off. And then finally, later this month, we have our next summer series best practice session. It will be on July 30th, and there is a link in the chat to register for that session. I will be also hosting that one with our expert from our certification team, my colleague Kelsey. She will be talking about certification best practices. So really getting everybody primed for, submitting documentation, things to look out for, mistakes to avoid, just really best practices overall for certification. And then also we will be doing a high level overview of the low rise scorecard. So if you are looking to learn more and you think it'll be a good fit for you, or you're curious about it as a product, definitely register and join us on July 30th. We would love to have you all. Okay, now that we've covered all of that, if anybody has any questions for myself or Lavinia, please share them. Okay, it looks like we have maybe answered everybody's questions through our presentation. But we'll give you all a minute. We do have a little poll. We'd love to learn a little bit more about the users that are on the call and what you all are using or looking to use. So Janelle will send a poll, but we'll be asking what certification type are you most interested in? And we have listed here the star rating certification, that is 3-year certification, and then the Fitwel scale certification, which is our Fitwel social performance FSP product. And then if you're also not sure, we want to hear about that too. Looks like we did get one question in the chat. Hi, Samantha. Does FSP have an expiration date? So that is a great question, and it all depends on when you submit. We are currently having cohorts right now as part of the FSP process. So to use Evora as an example and all of their clients, they submitted as part of our end of year deadline and also part of our Q1 deadline. So they were part of this cohort that actually received their reports not too long ago, prior to the submission deadline for CRES, which is important. So it would be based on your certification date for the entities that you are pursuing. So the assets within the entity that you're pursuing for FSP, you would just be on an annual cycle for those assets. And we actually are going to be providing more information on our website soon about those timelines. We have learned a lot through our initial process, the pilot we went through for FSP, users like Evora going through the process, and when people are looking to get this information for either GRES reporting or their own internal needs. So stay tuned on our website for updated deadlines around submission, which gives you those annual dates that you'll need to hit year over year. Great question, though. It is an annual certification, though. We have another one. Leah, if I purchase the ambassador course program, how/where do I get access to the course? So if you purchase it, that purchase goes to our ambassador team, and they will add you to the course. So I would give it 24 to 48 hours to receive the link to access the course. So you'll receive an email and it will give you a link to log in, and then you'll see the course, which will then lead you to the exam, to take the exam. And then where can I find the low-rise scorecard? That will be available on our checklist page on the Help Center later this week. So right now you can access it. If you know you want to use it, you've taken a look at the information on our Help Center. It is available as a product on the platform. The checklist will be uploaded to the platform later this week, and you can already go ahead and access the strategy information under the strategies portion of the Help Center. Low Rise has its own section, so you can access that there to get more information on the requirements and compliance documentation, all of that. And then does low-rise residential checklist include renovations? Yes, it does have the same certification pathways as our other scorecards. So it does have design and built. So if your project is going through either a significant renovation or is still under construction, so how we kind of differentiate the two is occupancy. So if a portion of the building or the whole building or buildings are not occupied, you would just pursue the design pathway, and the requirements would reflect that. Great question. Thank you, Bill. Okay. Any other questions? Lavinia, it looks like this one's for you.
Yeah, yeah. Already really. The cost. So Lee would like to want the cost. Would like to want would like to know the cost range for consulting services for residential, multifamily buildings, and commercial buildings to help achieve certification. Well, I don't think we do have like a difference between the two. So consulting services for residential or commercial shouldn't be different. But if you want more details about consulting services, you can always, I don't know, access the QR code that was presented here and also the link to Evora, and we can talk further about what you are exactly interested in to find out. So, yeah. But definitely there will not be like differences between multifamily buildings and commercial buildings to achieve the certification from a cost point of view or consultancy point of view. Yeah.
Definitely. And I assume it also cost is impacted by, what are they looking to achieve? Is it a brand new build? Is it an
Yeah,
existing
yeah.
building?
It's
Oh,
the
there's a
same
lot
as
of
in,
factors.
yeah, it's the same as I think Bill asked the question. So depends on the renovation type. It depends if the state of the building, if it's design or build, if it's going to a major refurbishment or not in the next year. And this is something that we can establish together always. So we do offer consultancy in this area anytime our clients need, because sometimes the mind, to be honest, sometimes the mind gets a little bit complicated when you think that you are going to use a refurbishment or a renovation process, but actually it's kind of it's more simpler to be in that process because you do have from the beginning all the requirements established and you do know what you need in future.
Definitely. Great point. Well, thank you everybody for submitting your questions. If you didn't get a chance to submit your question or you think of something later, do not hesitate to reach out and reach out to Evora if you have specific questions around consultancy as well and how they can help you achieve your Fitwel goals. And as you saw earlier, they have a lot of other services they provide as well. So thanks everybody again for joining us, and a huge thank you to you, Lavinia, for sharing your insights and experiences from Evora. I know our users love hearing from our partners, and we love having you on these sessions as well. So we'll follow up with resources, recording links, and next steps. So keep an eye out on your inbox. Have a great rest of your day, everybody, and we hope to see you on our session in July. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.